I'm Daniela. I'm a cat mom and a dog mom, and today I want to share some of the life lessons that my dog has taught me about not being afraid to be yourself. When it comes to being yourself, it's all about being transparent about what it is that you want out of life, and also being transparent with those that are around you. Whether it's in person or virtually, it's just important to always be true to who you are, what your values are, and what you hold to be important. One of the ways that dogs really show us that they're not afraid of being themselves is by not having any pretenses. When it comes to dogs, they're not thinking about, oh, I really want to be the coolest kid on the block, I want to have the coolest outfits, I want to get the best treats, I want to show off to everybody else. They really don't care about any of that. In the end, they just care about their own happiness. And that's totally okay. It looks different to every dog, just like it looks different to every single person. And dogs just don't feel that need to be the cool kid. So that gives them so much freedom to follow their own little puppy hearts to do what they desire. They're not worried about trying to keep up a certain image. And in our society today, with social media and creating a personal brand, whether it's professional or personal, you're trying to create a very curated image of how the world perceives you to be. But dogs don't have this issue. They're just happy to be in the moment. Like my dog Ollie, he is a wild cookie, he's a crazy puppy, he's a mess, and he loves the hose. He goes crazy over the hose, throwing himself towards the hose, lunging over everything, sees it a mile away, will go towards it. He just loves the hose. I can't express how wild he goes over it. And at no point during this joyous moment when the hose comes out is he man, I wonder if that dog that just walked by thinks I'm not cool, or they're going to tell that other dog on the block that I look super weird and super cheesy because I'm chasing this hose. He really just doesn't care. He is just concentrated in his own happiness, and that's the way that us humans should really aim to be. We should be so focused on what it is that we are trying to accomplish and what goals we have for ourselves that everything else just sort of becomes a blur. Dogs just really help us hone in on the fact that it's okay to be ourselves, to be focused, and to chase what it is that we want, regardless of how silly it might look to somebody else. The second thing that we can learn about dogs, from dogs, is that they don't have a hidden agenda. Even if they are guilt tripping us with their puppy eyes, they never actually manipulate us into situations, right? We go back to that transparency where we know what it is that they want. If they jump on the couch, they're not trying to manipulate us into going to the couch and cuddling them and putting a blanket or doing any of that. Instead, they probably got on the couch because they just want a comfy place to sit in or lay on. They're not in this intricate, complex, dramatic situation. That's really the thing about dogs. They are so transparent. You don't have to worry about what intentions they have. If they are mad, they give you a warning growl. If they are happy, they give you a tail wag. Whatever it is, whether it's a verbal or nonverbal cue, you always know where you stand with them. Dog will always be honest about its intentions and what it is that they want, so you never have to worry about what's going to happen next. There's no hidden agenda about trying to convince you to do one thing by them doing another. So for example, in real life with adults, sometimes we will do a certain action in hope that somebody else will do something different or have a certain reaction to it. We get so wrapped up in this intricate story in our heads about how things should play out and what the other person might think that we forget about our own comfort. Sometimes you will put yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable, hoping for a certain outcome. And dogs will never do that. Dogs will always seek out their own happiness, their own comfort, and then it's on you to adapt to them. The fact that they can be so honest all the time is incredible, because honesty is such a rare quality to have, especially with humans at all times. You might be honest with some things but not in other ways, but dogs are always honest and they never try to hide what it is that they want, which kind of goes back to the previous video I made about learning to ask for what it is that you want. And it's just so telling how important that is in order to live like a life where you are free to be yourself. Because if you are constantly worrying about the hidden agenda, about trying to hide your true emotions, your true intentions, your true feelings, then how are you being yourself if all that you're doing is creating a false persona that doesn't actually represent yourself? It should never come to a point where you're trying to manipulate a situation, work it or twist it a certain way for you to get what you want. You should be able to build that for yourself. At the end of the day, it's our own choices, and we should hold ourselves accountable for the life that we live. And you just can't be afraid of being yourself by hiding behind what somebody else might decide for you. Lastly, the third thing is just to not be afraid of making a fool of yourself. Just don't be afraid of failure. We are so scared sometimes that we limit ourselves to what it is that we know how to do, because we're too scared to go after what it is that we want, because it requires us to get new skills, it requires us to make mistakes, and it will end up in continuous failure. Like, there's no going about it. Anytime you try something new, you're not going to automatically be amazing, regardless of how gifted you think you are. Unlike humans, dogs will just keep on trying and trying and trying. And to us, it might seem silly that the dog is chasing the lizard for the 15th time today and he still hasn't caught it and probably won't catch it in like 4 months. But he's still trying every single day to get that lizard. Dog will go after what it wants over and over and over again until it actually happens. And even when they get what they want, they will continue to try again and again because they find that joy in it. And to us, that seems obsessive, that seems extremely persistent, but at the same time, he's not afraid of failure. Like, he's not crying because he's not catching it. He just keeps on trying to hone in his abilities so that he can catch them. And throughout time, his catching rate does improve. Humans just have that tendency to run away from that failure because we want to live in this curated world where everything is perfect, our life is perfect, and nothing ever goes wrong. There's something about failure and making mistakes that in our brains, it helps us learn and it helps us grow. Like, your brain will take those mistakes and kind of like make like a mental note, like, hey, if I do this again, this is going to happen. If I do that, this is going to happen. And all of these like compilation of mistakes, that's what makes you an expert at something, and that's what allows you to grow and change from point A to point B, regardless of what it is that you're trying to do. Is those small failures, is those mistakes, is that practice that allows you to be a better person than you are today. So hopefully you found those tips helpful and they help remind you what it is that matters in life and just being yourself. If you want to learn about how cats can teach us how to be patient, you can watch this video. And if you want to learn how it is that you can learn to ask for what you want inspired by your dogs, you can watch this one. And hopefully we can all continue to grow and be better together and continue to build a world filled with cuteness and positivity. And to subscribe to our channel to continue getting little nuggets of wisdom from our pets. So enjoy.